Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and now it's time for the last rounds, round 7 and 8. Up until this point, I have been undefeated, and well, the next round is just going to be just as hard. I'm going to be playing against one of our new coaches, Raunak, and yeah, we've actually played a long game. Gosh, I forget what tournament it was, but it was a very good game in a Rui Lopez, and he definitely was ready for payback. I can see it in his eyes. Let's go ahead and take a look. In this game, I was playing the black pieces, and it's going to be a Marozcy bind, so Marozcy's not easy to break. Here we go. E4, C5, knight f3, E6, C4, and well, he's got his Marozcy bind going. And here I went ahead and played knight C6, D4, C takes, knight F6, doing the little trap here. Of course, you play knight C3. Hopefully, no one is falling for this simple idea playing knight takes here because, well, here, first of all, you should be playing d takes C6 as black here. But if you do play the b takes c6 line, the e5 move is no good because of queen to a5 check here, forking the king and the pawn. I think I won this pawn against Marty, one of our local 1800s here once in one of our games. So, all right, back to the game. Here, after knight c3, I played queen c7. Pawn f3, a move I'm always happy to see. You know, whenever you're playing against the Marozcy bind, I think it's really good to play the pawn to f4 most lines because it's a little bit more aggressive. F3 is a little bit slow in my opinion, and it also makes a lot of dark square weaknesses. So every time I see this f3 move, I'm a little bit happy. Pawn a6 got played. Pawn to a3, another subpar move in my opinion. It does stop these bishop b4 variations, but these are something that you should not be too afraid of. You know, this. Let's just say he played bishop e3, bishop b4, bishop e2. If I trade here and give him the double pawns, you know, yeah, here the computer's already giving white a 0.6 advantage, and the rest of them is like +1. Although these double pawns are very bad, I might even win one of these pawns. The dark squares are just so weak here that, yeah, white is just much better. With that being said, he did play this a3 move. I played bishop c5. I do regret this move. This was a game 30, and I did not play the best move. Here, if anything, I would have just rather played bishop to e7. And the reason why I don't like this bishop to c5 move is because, well, he plays bishop e3, and if you're not careful here, let's just say you castle him. Oh, white to move and get a huge advantage. What do you play here? Well, apparently there's two good moves here, all because this bishop is undefended. Here you can play knight d to b5, and, well, I guess you can take, and after bishop takes, you're winning a pawn, attacking the rook, and later on you can even do this knight takes b5 here too. So here, white is just much better in this position. And the same thing goes, you can even play here, knight takes e6 here, and after d takes, bishop takes c5. But here, this is not as good because the rook at least gets an open file here. But again, white's just doing much better in these lines. And this is why I did not like my move of bishop c5, because it allows him to develop the threat bishop e3. Here I went ahead and played pawn b6, not a move I really like, and here he was able to grab a good little advantage. Pawn b4, bishop e7, bishop b2, knight to e5, here attacking the c4 pawn, and here he played queen to b3. I definitely don't think this is the best place for the queen to be, so I was happy to see this move. Pawn d6 to stop any kind of future. For instance, castles here allows f4, knight g6, e5, and here white, I'm definitely liking their position here. Again, I'd mentioned this f4, e5 idea as being very strong. That's why I went ahead and played pawn to d6 instead of castling. Here he castles, rook ac1, bishop b7, rook f to d1, rook ac8. At this point, and this happens a lot of times, especially when I play lower rated players, they have the Marozcy bind, they have the structure, but what is the winning plan here? Yes, it is binding me where I can't get through, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't know the middle game plans here, and this definitely happened with my opponent. At this point, you know, the game is just starting to me. You know, most games I tell people I'm playing, a lot of players will go to me afterwards, I'm glad I've lasted so long. Well, to me, the game doesn't even start to move 30 or 40 most games. Most Master games are like 60 moves or longer. So at this point, you know, a lot of people are very, oh, I'm doing really well. This is a good position. My opponent's just playing fast. I'm just getting out of my opening theory here. In fact, my opening theory will probably not end for another 2 to 5 moves depending on what he plays. And when he played the knight to a4, this is a standard idea. I just went ahead and played the knight back to d7 here. Typically, I would be trying to get the rook either to e8 or to d8. With that being said, I didn't want to deal with let's say I play the rook to e8, the knight takes b6 ideas. Now, I'm not saying this is a great idea, but it is a bit challenging, and it gives white something to do. After queen takes b6, there's like knight takes e6. You know, things get a little bit hairy here. And in fact, the computer only gives us like a 0.2 advantage here for black. So it's already a really good position here for white, just because it's mixing things up. And the problem with this position here for him is that he doesn't know how to open up the position to his advantage. I mean, look at his pieces. They're all ready to go. Definitely saying, let's open up the queen side, let's do something. But he did not know how to proceed from here. And when he played there, I just played my knight back to d7. h3, again, a weakening move for the dark squares, I'm happy to see. Played my rook to e8. Knight to b2, a very strange move. I've never seen this before. Definitely an original idea from him. I went ahead and played my bishop back to f8. Knight to d3, and at this point, I'm almost getting out of my preparation. And here, there's a big move I want to play here as black. What's the move that black wants to play in this position to get the equal, if not better? Again, this is mostly all Sicilians. If you can play this move, you're equal, if not better. What's the move you want to play? It's pawn to d5. Unfortunately, I can't play it now because, well, you know, there's a discovery happening. So, simple chess, I just move my queen out the way. Again, a move that I'm very used to playing in these lines, queen to b8. He played pawn a4 and black to move and get a better position, if not equal. I played pawn d5. And here, unfortunately, he saw the strength of d5, and he makes a bad move right away, and he goes ahead and plays pawn e5. He was hoping to get some kind of counterplay here with this move, as he saw after, let's just say, c takes. I would probably play rook takes c1 right away, rook takes c1, pawn takes. You know, this is a little bit annoying here, and yeah, I'm definitely thinking black's better in this position. Yeah, black's definitely better in this position now. This whole attack on the e-file. And once I've opened up the position, it's equal, right? But here, he's having a hard time with all these pieces up on this file right here. With that being said, he tried to play e5 to mix things up. And, well, I'll go ahead and task this to you. What's the best way to win the pawn here without giving your opponent counterplay? This is a very, very important thing to start doing when you're a stronger chess player. Not all pawns and all positions are equal, right? Even if you're winning material. When you're a strong chess player, you look about winning material, but also having the attack with it or having a positional advantage. And this is exactly what I did here. All right, black to move. What's the best way to take this pawn? Well, for those who are saying knight takes e5, you know, this is a way to play here. You just have to be a little bit careful because there is a few things to do. This is not the best way to win the pawn, though. Knight takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes on e5, and bishop to f2. And the position is looking okay here. The queen is kind of a little bit misplaced at this point. And, well, the other thing that you have to worry about is maybe they'll play bishop f4. Bishop f4 could be a move here that could be annoying here. Here, computer's just giving d takes c4, but again, you have to see this all in advance. Bishop takes on e5, queen takes on e5, knight takes, and pawn takes. And, yeah, I mean, this is an interesting position. I definitely would not say it's as good as the one I'm going to be getting. And here, after the e5 move got played, you want to have everything on tempo. So instead of allowing these bishop f4 ideas, here you simply just play d takes c4 with a nice tempo to it. Why? Well, you're attacking the queen again. And after rook takes, if they don't, I mean, I guess they could take on f6 here. With that being said, there's lots of moves you can play here. You can just move your rook back. You can maybe double up your rooks. Maybe even bishop d5 is a move over here. There's too many moves here, and you won't get sufficient compensation. Even after pawn takes back, you're literally helping out your opponent's bishop over here. So here, queen takes, you simply take on e5 now, because now you got a tempo off the queen. Now there are no more bishop f4 variations. And here you did not want to trade, so we played the queen back to c1. And here you can just trade right away, or you can help bettering your position, which is what I did. Here, try to use your intuition, and, well, there's no need to trade right away. Remember, the threat is stronger than the execution. Rook c8 attacking the queen. The queen ran to b2. Another nice little tempo move. Knight c4. Queen c1. Knight d5. Look at my beautiful knights. Look at my bishops. All my pieces are on great squares over here. Now it's a negative 0.7 position. Here we played bishop f2. And now a little tactic to win some material. Black to move. What do you play here? All right, hopefully you found it. Knight ce3, discovery attack on the queen, and now the knight's attacking the rook. Here he went ahead and just played bishop takes e3 as, well, I'd rather, in this position, because you're down so much material, you might as well make it crazy or even more imbalanced, hoping that I will make a mistake. Or your opponent makes a mistake. Remember, whenever you're in a better position, you try to make things as calm as possible. Try to restrain your opponent. Whenever you're in a losing position, you need to complicate matters and then try to hopefully make your opponent make a mistake. And that's exactly what he does. So I do applaud him for this idea. He played bishop takes, I took, takes back, knight takes b4. Let's go ahead and grab a pawn. Bishop f4 here. Again, I admire his spirit. He's trying to create some kind of imbalance here. Queen e8, knight to e5, pawn f6, knight g4. Here I could have played e5 right away, but I decided just to keep kicking him back. I played pawn to h5. Here he played bishop c4. And, well, you could just take the knight over here, but I decided just to play bishop d5. Again, restrain and maintain. There's no need to go into any kind of crazy calculations here. And at this point, seeing that I was just playing very, very accurate and also having a better position, he just went ahead and resigned at this point. This is my game versus Raunak, and I look forward to our next game. All right, time for my last game of the tournament for the September Gladiators. I went ahead and got to play Andy. I'm very happy this was Andy's first time playing over at the chess club. He's going to now start playing in a lot of our weekly rated tournament games. Before that, I hooked up with him and we were playing Blitz over at the Flying Saucer at our Monday night chess club, having a pint and just playing some Blitz chess. So I'm happy that he's playing some long games and he seemed to really enjoy it. With that being said, I was with the white pieces this time. Here we go. e4, g6. He likes to play the modern, or the perk, as he likes to say. d4, bishop g7. Knight c3, main line right here. Pawn d6, bishop e3. I decided to play the 150 attack, one of the main lines in this opening. I also do Austrian attack and some other juicy variations. Knight f6, queen d2. Knight g4, and believe it or not, this is the main line. At this point, he did not know we were playing main line, so I just kept going. Bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, knight c6. Now, this is a new move for me, so I'm thinking by myself right now. And, well, I think I got a good position. Here I grab free tempos, pawn d5, knight to e5, pawn f4, knight to d7, knight to f3, and pawn c6. A very good move here, which I really underestimated here. One of the ideas is letting the queen out, but also trying to ruin my center. Here I tried to do everything correctly. I played pawn h3. Now you could castle queenside here. I just did not like the idea of him playing queen b6 in some of these variations, as well. There could be some ideas with knight f6, knight takes e4. For instance, h3, knight f6, pawn. I don't know, maybe I do a blunder like pawn takes. There could be like knight takes e4 variations now because of this pin. So I didn't want to go into any of these lines, so I decided just to keep my king in the center for now. h3, knight f6, bishop d3. Here I had an idea to stop him from castling, which I was able to push through. Hopefully you'll see the idea in a few moves. Here we played queen b6, and I have to be careful here. Queen takes b2, especially with the bishop opened up, can be very bad for me. So I went ahead and played pawn takes. He took back. And, well, I can't castle right now. And castling queenside is a move. I just did not like this as well. There's lots of moves here for counterplay, and the b2 square can get very weak. Yeah, already computer saying this is about equal position. Rook b8. Ugh, I had to play b3. You can definitely see the dark squares are weak. Knight takes c4 variations will be in the future. Knight c5. Oof. Moves I'm just not liking here. So I went ahead and played pawn to e5. And this was the idea. I don't know if you've seen this one. It's e5, e6. If I get the pawn to e6, it undermines the g6 pawn. And this is why the bishop was moved to d3. So this was the idea with the bishop d3. I want to play e5, e6. He went ahead and played knight h7 here. Of course, if he takes, this is another way to play. Pawn takes. And then, I don't know, maybe knight d5. This is what I was expecting. And then e6 here. Yeah, I was a little afraid of this move because of queen takes on b2. Even after pawn takes, bishop takes, he's going to be winning back some of his material here. Oof. Computer is very, very courageous. There's only one line here to keep the advantages. Knight takes d5, allowing queen takes a1 check, king f2, queen h1, which I did look at, but you know, in a 30-minute game, I'd rather not take any kind of chances. So yeah, I did not want to go into these sub variations. And like I said, luckily for me, after I played e5, he just played knight h7 here. And I want to play e6 again, but again, the same ideas can be very strong here. Queen takes b2, and this time it is actually black winning here because of this fork right here. All right, so because of this fork that I saw, I just played the simple move knight to a4. This kicks the queen off this diagonal, and also the queen cannot take on b2. All right, queen went to c7, and now I can play my move, pawn e6. I'm successfully going to stop my opponent from castling. Knight f6, check, king takes, and then I went ahead and castled. This makes total sense to me as my king is now safe, and well, I got my rook opposite of my opponent's king. He played pawn c5, and I went ahead and played pawn b3 here. The idea is to stop c4 ideas and just get ready to bring my rook into the game. Queen c6 was played, and I think the idea here was to play something like knight e4 here. So simple chess, just rook a e1, and then he played rook e8 real fast. This is the position which I was aiming for a few moves ago, especially when I castled, and I'd seen this tactic that I'm about to play. White to move, let's open up this game, let's attack our opponent. What do you play here to continue the attack? All right, hopefully you found it. Here, let's open up some lines. These rooks are just begging to be opened up. Knight to e5 check here. And this queen works out perfectly here because, well, it's an offer you just can't refuse, right? Unless you want to lose your queen. Pawn takes, d takes, bishop to b7. And here, again, I was a little bit low on time, so I did not play the best moves in my opinion. Here, I just simply played bishop b4. This is one of the top moves here. And I just really didn't want to deal with this g2 threat here, so I just go ahead and trade off real quick. Also, I saw I was going to be winning a pawn. Queen c7, bishop takes, queen takes, and then I just took the pawn on c5 here. Queen to b6, pinning the knight. That's okay. Pawn b4, king to g8, and then I just took. Obviously, here I have to take, or else I won't be winning this pawn anymore. So e takes on f6, knight takes on f6. I definitely don't think this was the best move. We were analyzing the game together afterwards, and I definitely thought pawn takes was going to be a better move here. Yeah, it doesn't really. It's not the most aggressive way to play, and the knight is still a bit bad here. But I just thought fixing the pawn structure would be best here. But you know what? Computer is agreeing with Andy, saying, you know what? At this point, we just got to get in there and attack. So knight takes f6, main move here. All right, let's keep moving forward. Here I had a backwards e pawn I want to put pressure on, so rook e6. Queen e3, saying let's trade queens. There's nothing wrong with trading queens here, although in this kind of position, you will win the game faster if you do not trade. So queen e3, pawn g5, bishop g3, queen to d5, and here bishop e5. Here I can just do a full-out kingside attack. And here, the move I was worried about was king to f7, just holding on to this pawn over here. Again, if you're not paying attention, something like rook a d8, well, you're losing material now. Bishop takes, rook takes. And if pawn takes, rook takes, check is going to be winning a piece. This is why I was worried about this king f7 move. Apparently, king f7 is nothing too big to worry about. You can simply just keep playing chess and you have a good position. And I have a lot of good pressure on it. But I won't be winning right away. But it is a point... a +8 position here, basically up a queen. And so here I played bishop b5, and unfortunately for Andy, I think the time just got to him. Hasn't played many chess tournaments yet, so here he kind of just blunders here and plays knight to g4, and I was like, okay, well, free money. I went ahead and took. He took, I took, he took on a2, and now it's a forced checkmate. I was able to find the idea. Here it is, white to move. Where is white's penetration square? I'm not asking for a checkmate pattern, just where is the best square to penetrate at? Well, hopefully you found it. It's the g6 square. Once you know that g6 is the penetration square where you can get in, well, it's game over. Here I went ahead and played queen to e4, and now it's just forced checkmate. There's nothing good that you can do. Even if you tried to play something like king g7, you can go rook e6 here to block the queen from coming in, and it also helps get to g6 square, or you can play knight e6 check here too. All these lines are just winning. Here he went ahead and played rook d8, and now the game is over with a quick checkmate in 3. White to move. Can you find the final combination here? All right, hopefully you found it. Not too hard. Queen g6 check, king h8, queen takes h6 check, king g8, and rook takes g5 check and mate. It's always nice when you get these pieces working all together. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this game. This was my final game from the Gladiators September. I was able to win the tournament with a full point ahead. I was tied with Logan Smoot for the last round, but Raunak was able to take him out, giving me the sole win for the tournament. And I got to take a picture with the belt. I'll see if I can add it into the description below, just so you guys can see it. Or maybe I'll put it in my thumbnail. That's good enough for me as it is. All right, guys. You guys have a nice day. I'll see you in the next video.